Good evening, guys. Welcome to another live session on great learning. I am Monica and I'll be moderating today's session. We have with us today Sonakshi. She's working as a data scientist with Genpact. And the topic that we are going to discuss today is the right approach to get a successful career in data science and also how to deal with the rejections. So, please keep posting your questions in the chat box and we will take the questions after the session. So, over to you, Sonakshi.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Sonakshi Patnaik and I'll be taking forward the session on right approach for a data science career. So I'll be sharing my slide. So yeah. So yeah, this is the starting. So in the starting, like for today's agenda, we will go forward with different types of what is the exactly what is required. Is it required to have a career in data science or not, or is it like we will have a career, or like do we need a coding background or not, or do we need a statistic background or not for this? So yeah, so I hope you are able to see my screen. So yeah, so I work as a data scientist in Genpact, and coming on to my educational background, I completed my post-graduation program on data science and engineering from Great Learning. Previously, I was working like in IBM. I started my job in IBM in 2016 as a business associate. It was little of a monotonous work and a continuous job kind of thing, wherein we have to get into clients involvement. There was nothing called exploration kind of thing there, so you need not have to explore anything or you cannot find anything, so it was a bit tough. So what happened is, like after 2 years I changed my job and I started working as a business analyst at IDXL, wherein I was involved into analytics a bit, but not much. If you say, I was working on SQL, Python, or data visualization, but not much of like analytics, because there we have to understand the client's requirement. What is the client's requirement? I have to understand, and then I have to frame a document. Although for in the need of understanding, I was into like analytics, but I was not getting that chance to explore or work perfectly on analytics, because analytics is a huge field. And yeah, we do use machine learning, we were using Python, we were using SQL for framing and everything, but yeah, I was not getting that level of chance there. So I thought of upskilling and upgrading myself. By the time I thought of upgrading myself, I had a 4 months old daughter. Yeah, this PGP DSC I completed within my maternity gap. And it was like a very tough journey, because like managing a kid of 4 months and then going forward with her class, like daily class from 9 to 5, it was a bit tough. So I didn't give up, because I wanted myself to upgrade, I wanted to upskill myself. So I had to go forward with it. And to be very frank, it was just like tossing a coin. I never know which side it would fall, because I had no background completely on technical side. I was a statistics and economics, bachelor in commerce with statistics and economics parts out. and it was a bit difficult. I didn't know C for coding also. Like it was like very difficult for me to frame like to do a data frame or something like that. It was very tough. So 2019, I joined as a data scientist. Actually, the program was designed for 6 months, 5 months and a half. But by the end of July, again, 2 months was left. The course was yet to be completed by September. By July end, I got placed. So I think I was the first to get placed in my batch. So it is like a dream come true. So in this session, I will tell you how I cracked the interview and why companies reject because of the career gaps. So it is nothing like only technical people can qualify for a data science, nothing like that, because everyone can qualify for a data science background. So it's all it's required is a proper content knowledge, some domain knowledge, and some 50% of Python or R knowledge that involves again coding. So I'll take forward with the next slide to explain you better. Yeah, so this is the agenda of today's discussion. It is mostly like whether theoretical knowledge is important or not, whether we need a perfectly coding background for data science or not, or then I will go through the architectural framework of data science, because there I'll tell you what exactly data engineering means and what exactly data science means, because both are again different. And the biggest mistake people do is choosing the roles. If they know some parts of visualization, if they know some parts of integration, and they are applying for a data science job, obviously there will be rejection. So how to choose a rule to integrate your job role into your profile, so that rule I will tell you. And then I'll explain you about the transition, how I made a transition and all. Then we will go forward with right approach, like taking forward like there are two types of approach: business approach and analytical approach, and how both are different in a IT company. And then I will tell you about dealing with rejections due to career gaps. So this has been a big thing for me, because I have been rejected by around 90 companies in and around India, like all over India I applied. So how to deal with the rejections due to career gaps. So yeah, so here is the first point, that is strong foundation and understanding of the context. So do we need theoretical knowledge in data science? Yes, obviously. We need it for a strong foundation and understanding the context. Take for example, data science is also known as decision theory. So what does decision means? Decisions means we should have the capability to understand, shall we go forward with the data or not? Again, this context, like this theoretical knowledge also involves some points that needs to be correlated between the data and science. So data science is a subject that we need to predict, taking the data from the past. Okay, so we need to understand the nature of the data. We need to understand the characteristics of the data. We need to know whether the data is discrete or it is continuous. We need to know whether it is qualitative data or quantitative data. We need to know like whether the data is numeric data or non-numeric data. So a lot of things are there in the data points. So the correlation is important here. So for a correlation and to know the where the data is tilted, whether it is right tilted, left tilted, for all this thing, we need to understand the back end thing, that is the theory of the data. So where does the data lies here? Sometimes data is also called like validation of concept. It's like a proof of concept, we can say, wherein this will help you to validate a thing practically, validate the data practically. Take for example, I am using some time series data to forecast my sales for 2020-21. So what will I use here? Okay, so here I'll use a time series forecasting. For time series forecasting, I need a background theoretical knowledge to understand what time series is all about. What is naive Bayes? What is Manhattan theory? So all these things comes under theoretical knowledge. All these things are a part of statistical background, statistical knowledge. Yes, so to understand the reason, to understand the data, to understand the unexplored application, to understand the unexplored data set, we need a theoretical knowledge in data science. It's not about only coding. It's all about your thinking of like taking of concepts. Like you should be conceptually clear in everything in a data science background. So here is all about coding. Do we need coding 100% to crack a data science? I would say no, not much, because apart from theory, we need coding, but not 100% coding. Take for example, we can take an example of our current situation, like we are going forward with the lockdown situation. And what happens is, Modi announced on 24th March about lockdown, and lot of tweets were there in the Twitter. So we wanted to do a sentiment analysis on that thing. So how will we do that sentiment analysis? Because we have to pull the data from Twitter, then we have to analyze the data. For analyzing the data, we need statistical knowledge. We need to understand the data, how the data is, whether the data is overfitted or not for the model. That also needs a statistical knowledge. So for all this thing, where is the relation, where is the coefficient, and all, for those things we need statistical knowledge. Apart from that, if you see, the next process is the cleaning of the data. Do I need the dates? No. Do I need the name of the person who posted in Twitter? No. For all these things, again, we need only positive, negative, and neutral sentiments. And for all these taglines, I need the textual data only, the text classification of the data. So we can delete all these things. So how to delete those? We need coding for the cleaning process. So this is how it is all about. The next process is of prediction. Now we need to predict the data set, whether the people of India are going forward with a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment or a neutral sentiment. Again, for all this thing, we need a coding background, and the coding background for modeling the process, but we need a theoretical knowledge to include a ML algorithm on it. The ML algorithm for prediction again includes a statistical knowledge. So yes, I can tell that data science consists of like not everything on theory, but some of theoretical knowledge and some of coding knowledge also. It's not all about 100% coding or not all about 100% theoretical knowledge. We need 50-50 from both the things. I'll go next slide. Yeah. So this is the architectural framework of data science. Like it is too technical for non-tech background, but I would like to explain some things that will make you distinguish between the job roles exactly that are available in the marketplace. So take for example, the data sources you are seeing here. They have structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. So if you see structured data, it is mostly defined as a data type that the pattern is easily searchable. Take for example, ATM transaction, sales transaction, airline reservation system. These are all called structured data. Whereas we can tell that some of the images, videos, some of the Twitter tweets, then some information from documents, then some information from images, all these are unstructured data. So in structured data, it is stored in data warehousing, or it is stored in databases. But in unstructured data, it is human generated mostly, because we post a lot of things in Facebook, we post a lot of things in Twitter that needs to be analyzed. Those data needs to be analyzed. So those are a part of unstructured data. Those are not a structured data. We, after pulling the data, we have to find out a way that what exactly we are focusing on. That is the difference between structured data and unstructured data. So take for example, in a structured data, we can say like the model is pre-trained, like predefined model we get. We know what exactly we are going to do in a structured data. But excuse me, but in a unstructured data, we don't get to know what exactly we need to do. We need to focus on the things that we want and delete the rest. So there is a lot of difference between structured data and unstructured data. So we can, I gave you example like any type of images, audio, video, any type of human chats, any type of things are called unstructured data. Again, coming on to the semi-structured data. So semi-structured data, we can say the best example I can give is the documents. Here, the documents have a classification. The document has a keyword search, but it is not as per, we don't find any sync between any of the documents, or we don't. The best example I give is the emails. Emails, you can see, emails have a structured form. Emails have a searchable thing. Email have a classification, but email is not completely structured, because we don't know from where email has come, and we don't know like what exactly we want from the email data. We need to search for the pattern in the email data. So that is what is the difference between structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. So coming on to the next thing is the integration part. Integration, I have written already: ETL, messaging, ODBC, and replica. So ETL basically is extract, transform, load. Again, it is a part of technical, too technical, but I'll not go inside it. But I'll just explain you so that I can explain you better on the job roles. So here the data ingestion is from different sources to the warehousing. So mostly this integration part is a part of data engineering. Okay, so messaging is again used in real time, that has to transfer packets of data in a customizable format. You can customize format and then you can transfer the data. Then ODBC is open database connectivity, and it is a API integration mostly, we can say. Again, same as replication also. Replication is also integration system for a distributed environment. So coming on to the data storage, where we have data warehousing, data marts, and operational storage. Mostly this portion is used for reporting purpose mostly, and to store the data there. Again, we will come to our own position, that is analytics. So here analytics, basically, let me tell you, analytics has different roles. Data engineering and data science are different. So what happens is there lies a gray area between data engineering and data science. So what happens is, in the data science, we need to explore more and more. We need to find algorithms to predict taking the past relations. Take for example, I'll give you a small example wherein I was doing my course, and I was asked this by my mentor. What is the probability that the fan above me will fall now? So it's a bit interesting, you know. What is the probability that the fan will fall now? So for this is a basic data science question. So I need to understand the past of the fan, whether the fan has fallen down in the past or not. First thing, this will add to my data. Then second is, I will check that what is the damage of the fan. Then third is, I will check whether there is some issue with the fan, and like is it working bad or not. So these are the points that will help me to predict, to make a probability that the fan will fall on me or not. So this is very simple. For data science is somewhat same like that. We need to understand the past in order to forecast the future. We need to forecast the future. We need to predict the sales. We need to predict whether my company will have a profit or loss. So for predicting the profit or loss, I need to understand whether in the past my company was going through a profit or loss, and through which reason it is, and like for what it is going in a loss. So in a machine learning, in a data science world, this we can help the companies in improving their products by telling them that okay, you are lacking here, so you need to increase the market or something like that. So this is very important in data science. But what happens in data engineering is, data engineering, we have lot of integrations, we have lot of automations. Then data engineering, I can tell you that it deals with bringing the data from different sources and making it ready for a data science perspective, for a data scientist to deal with explorations and work with it. So that is exactly the difference between data engineering and data science. Whereas you can see in like advanced analytics, we use most of the high level modelings like NLP, computer vision, all this comes under advanced analytics, deep learning, neural networks and all. So these are the things. And again, presentation, if you see, we have different presentations we can do to the clients, like desktop web browsers after the model is built. So this is the architectural framework of data science. Now I'll change the next slide. Yeah. So this is all about the transition into data science and how. So a lot of you might be confused that you are from a non-tech background, and how will you deal with such pressure in data science? Do I need coding? Do I need theory knowledge? What to focus on? So let me tell you, data science is just like jack of all trades, master of none. So you need to have little knowledge in all the things in order to get into data science. It is not into complete coding. It is not into complete theory. It is not into complete domain knowledge also. It is like 50 knowledge from everything that comprises the world of data science. So basically, I will tell you, data science has a mixture of concepts and code, wherein we need to understand and create a model. So take for example, like my husband is a engineering graduate. He has studied C++, Java, and he's very good in coding. But I am from BCom background, completely statistics and economics I know, and I don't know anything on coding. But here, if I can crack an interview, my main point, like my main focus will be on the concepts, because I know I'm powerful in concepts. I know what is naive Bayes, I know what is Manhattan technique. I have a very conceptual knowledge in statistics. So that is what is the focus of dealing with interviews in data science. It is not completely on coding. Yeah, I need coding, but I need it at a 50% level to just to know how to model it, just to know how to clean the code. And for all this, I need coding. So obviously there is a traditional research involved, and even we need to understand the software development cycle. That also needs, and that's a part of complete computer and IT solutions. So this is all about domain knowledge, math, statistics, computer science, that comprises the thing of data science. And for a transition into data science, it's like nowadays we have different types of coding platforms like GitHubs, Kaggle, and all, where codes are available, and there are a lot of open sources that makes us very easy for us to get the codes in. Like everything is available in Google, everything is open source. You just have to import some libraries, and you just have to place it in your code to make it work and make the model work. Apart from this, there are various cloud platforms also, like cloud platform API that that saves a huge time, and a non-technical simple person can also pursue it. It's not like every time you need to have a coding knowledge. So this is all about how to take a transition in data science. So I would say that obviously it is difficult. It is difficult initially to get into data science for those who don't have a coding background to understand the coding, but it is not that impossible, because I said every code is available in Google, every set is available in Google, and you have lot many open sources. And obviously, if you have a good mentor for upskilling you, then obviously you can crack a data science interview. So I can also tell that in today's world, upgrading and upskilling is very important in the industry we are surviving in, because each day the business is emerging to a new side. Each day we are getting new types of data. So it is possible to make a transition, but a perfect place or a perfect upskilling is required. So let's go to the next slide. This is approach to data science. Here, mostly I want to explain you about the business approach and the analytical approach. Now, what happens in a business approach is once we get the data, we have to think where the data should go, whether it should go to a data science person, or it should go to a data engineering person, or it should go to a visualization person. So the business problem and how to solve it is the main business approach in a data science stream. Okay, so once we go to analytical approach, it is like how to use the data to solve the problem. Suppose I have a data on sales. So what happens is I have to take out the profit and loss of the company. I am very much focused that I have to take out either the company is running in profit or the company is running in loss. So this is how the analytical approach is used. So for this analytical approach, first thing we need to do is the data preparation. We need to remove all the columns and make the data a cleaned one to focus on a thing, so that in the end we will get a good accuracy. Obviously that is important for the client, for the project, because if we don't get a good accuracy or a F1 score, like I'm being little technical, but yeah, F1 score and accuracy is a part of data science to know whether your model is working perfectly or not, whether your model is accurate to predict or not. So that is what is data preparation is all about. We need to prepare the data in order to focus on the same thing. As I said you, if I'm performing a sentiment analysis, then I need to have only textual data. I don't need the date. I don't need the columns like serial number. I don't need the names of the person, but I need to understand whether I am going forward, my country is going forward in a positive side or a negative side through the sentiment of the people. So that is what is all about analytical approach and the business approach. Obviously, the next step that we come forward is modeling. And in modeling, if I tell you, modeling is a very important thing. And again, modeling is the thing where we need both the skills. Take for example, we need theoretical knowledge also, we need coding knowledge also. So theoretical knowledge in the sense we need to understand the algorithms to predict the model. And modeling also involves code, because we need code to frame it. So here in the part of modeling, we need code also, and we need statistical knowledge also to model a project. We need to understand where exactly the data is going forward, and whether it is overfitted or not, and whether it is going forward with a very bad accuracy or not, and selecting the best model. If I'm selecting time series, it should give me 90% accuracy. So these things comes under the modeling part. Next comes under evaluation. So what evaluation is? The evaluation is, as I said, evaluation part is mostly the accuracy and the F1 score that the model gives. So that is very important, because if the model doesn't give a good evaluation, then might be there is some issues with the data points. We need to again go to the first thing to understand whether I'm taking the right data point or not, whether there is a correlation between the data point or not, whether the coefficient has come good or not. So those things again involve a statistical part, coefficient and all, and we need coding to get into it. So it again involves everything. So next comes is the deployment. So deployment is like we need to deploy it So again, I'll say this is a part of data engineering. So we have to integrate it in client system, or we need to integrate it in a project. So integration is again a big issue in most of the companies, because if our code doesn't fit to the integration, we need to change. So I would say like this is a part of data engineering. So data science is again exploring and all. So next comes is the feedback of the client or something. And here we can tell that we need hands-on coding, we need domain knowledge, and we need theoretical knowledge to go forward with the data science career. I'll go on to the next slide. Yeah. So now dealing with rejections, I would say like the more you fail, the more you learn. I have, like in my career, I have been rejected by almost 90 companies all over India, just because the companies can't trust. You know, if you come from a career gap, if you have like 1 or 2 years of gap in your career, it's very difficult for the companies to trust you. They don't get that trust factor that you will be able to come back in a technology field or not. That's why it's in a statistical report I was reading, India has only 18% women working in technology all over India. Only 18% is very less, right? In the data science field, you can find very less women working. That's because they have a career gap and they don't know how to deal with the career gap. They don't get that confidence to increase the trust of the companies. So that is what they go forward with. All you need is the confidence in interview. First thing, you need to make the companies clarify a thing that they can trust you. That is most important, because if I come from a non-tech background and if I can't write a single line of code, or I can't explain what is Manhattan theory all about, then obviously they won't get that trust that I will be able to work in a data science field. So it is very important in an interview to focus on the role and the skills you have. So currently in the data science field, I think there are many roles, many designations also. Take for example, data engineering, data science, business analyst, then visualizer, then statistician, then data architecture, ML engineer, etc., etc. So for all this thing, we need to find out a role for our skills. If I am good in exploration, I should go into data science. If I'm good at little good at technical side, or little good in integrations or automations, I should go in data engineering side. So this is what varies in field of data science and data engineering, or there is a difference in different designations in the field of data science. So that is what is all about. And next I would say like we have to make our digital presence, like LinkedIn, say GitHub links and all, very much active. And it should be a good looking thing, because the digital platform also plays a good role in interviews. I will tell that focus on job description. Then, this mention the project you have worked on, and share the GitHub links. As I said, company have a trust issue in case you have a career gaps. So you need to make them feel that they have to trust you. And only saying of the project doesn't forecast everything, that they don't get that trust that, okay, you will be able to work. So what you can say do is like there are different platforms. Take for example, GitHub is a platform, and in GitHubs you can upload your code and you can share the link. So there, if you write a GitHub link or somewhat, it will be little more attractive than other resumes, because here what happens is in the GitHub links they will go and they'll check your code. They'll get that trust feeling that, okay, she can write the code and she knows where to put the algorithm and she knows how to deal with the data points and everything. So that's what that creates bit of difference in your resume than other people's resume. Okay, so I would like to also tell about an interview, most of the interviews, if you go to Flipkart or Amazon, yeah, I have also gone and I have been rejected too. But that was the first phase when I tried, and I regretted of attending it in the first phase instead of attending it in the last phase after I got my limitations and after I became very strong in attending interviews. So there might be 6 to 7 rounds, and the first round they take is the screening round. Like, you have to write a code. So in this part, you have to be 50% good in either SQL or Python or R. So coding is required there, because the first round obviously will have a written round, whether it is a hacker rank question or it is a manual paper question. You will have a written round there. So the second round comes is the manager with technical rounds. So this round will have more importance on your resume, more importance on what you have worked on, more importance on the projects that you have worked on, more importance on the technical skills. So in this round, you have to focus more on the technical part and show interest on the role and the skills that you have. So the next round will be the hiring manager round, wherein the hiring manager will know. Again, this is obviously a resume round where the hiring manager will check whether you are fitted to the role or not. So those things are again hiring manager round. Then fourth round is the project manager, wherein mostly they have on-site interviews, and people, those who sit in the project office, they want to take interviews and they want to know whether you are capable of taking uploads of their work or not, or whether you are capable of doing their project assignments or not. All these things comes again into the project manager round. And the fifth round is the HR round. Obviously you will know whether you are cracking it or not. So I would like to say that you can let them know your strength and the journey so far, and the succeeding factor, obviously, whether you are succeeding in a coding place or you are succeeding in a conceptual place. For non-tech background people, obviously you can tell that like you have a good conceptual knowledge than coding knowledge. Some companies, they need only conceptual knowledge because they want to explore more, and they want to understand the data more. In that case, they need more of conceptual knowledge people. So then I would say, like, we should understand whether the job role is under the data science ecosystem or not. That is very important, because I feel like most of the people in the IT, they get into a job and then they come to know that this is not in a data science ecosystem. It is something different that I have thought of, and this is something related to a different project, or only a ticketing job, like we have to pull the ticket from Jira or any other source and then solve the issue of the client and all this thing. So these all things are important. We need to understand whether the role and the skills that I have, that fit into a perfect data science thing or not. The importance of resume comes in second and third round, obviously, wherein the interviewer asks question on the previous experience. So that is very important. So yeah, coding should be either good in Python or SQL. So here we need to have Python, R, or SQL, any one of the coding knowledge in order to crack the interviews. And last, I would say, like, remember, rejection is the only beginning. So if you get rejected, don't give up. Rather, try more and more, and at a point you will feel like you are more stronger, in a point where other people don't. So getting rejected is also a good thing. You will get to know, like, where exactly you are lacking behind and what you need to do. So that is important. That is obviously important, not only in data science. It's in together, I'm saying. So again, I would like to say that what is the difference between data analyst and a data scientist job? So here, data analyst gets the insight from the data provided. So if the client is providing a data to data analyst, he needs to gain the insight from that. He needs to find a solution from the data given. But what happens in the case of data scientist is data scientist predicts of or forecast based on the past pattern. So data scientist is expected to generate their own model. They need to generate their own model. They need to find out a way where they can deal with the data and where they can model the data, or they can forecast the data or predict something. So that is the difference exactly between data science and data analyst. So coming forward, I would like to give a few lines on future of data science. As we all know, the world is already data driven. Taking for example, like CCTV cameras to phone calls to messages to tweets, everything is data driven now. Everything, the complete world is data driven. So all you need to have is a strong understanding on the data. So for this strong understanding is of the data, we need a theoretical knowledge. And to deal with the data, we need coding knowledge. So I would say that data science is a continuous knowledge and extracting knowledge from the theories and presenting it. So we can't just say that data science has everything, but we need to learn everything. But yeah, like 50-50 knowledge is important. Like 50% of theory knowledge and 50% of coding knowledge is important for data science field. Without that, it is very much difficult for us to crack an interview. So that's all. If you have any questions, you can let me know.
Thanks, Sonakshi. Thank you so much. So let us take a few questions now. So we have a question from Aditya Anand. So he wants to know mainly what are the skills I have to go for a data scientist interview as a fresher? Is Python the first step?
Um, yeah. So for a data science, okay, Aditya, so I would like to clear it. For a data science field, you need theory also, you need code also, that I've been saying throughout the session. It's all about like Python. Yeah, Python is the first thing, because once you get the data, you need to clean it to understand and analyze the data. That again requires a theoretical knowledge. So yeah, Python is the first step, and second step is the EDA, and analysis of data, and the statistical knowledge. So both are important in a data science field. It's not like only one thing is important and other thing is not. So both are important in a data science field, but Python is the first step, and next step will be the statistics, that for analyzing the data. And next it will come to a EDA part, where we have to explore the data. We need to know where the data stands, how is it related, is it correlated or not, where, like, how we need to find out different things analyzing the data. So again, Python is the first step. Yeah.
Okay, great. So next question is coming from Rahul Kumar. So he says, I've completed my graduation in 2015. I was preparing for government exam, but unfortunately I didn't clear any exam. I'm interested in this course, but 5 years gap is my problem.
Yeah, that's what I even told. Gap, we need to gain the trust of the companies. Rahul, it's like we need to gain the trust of the companies. As I said, uh, we should show them that we are capable of working, because companies have a trust issue. They don't trust you that after having a 5-year long gap, whether you will be able to cope up with the emerging technology and emerging business or not. So they have that gap. So you need to sync up. You need to understand more on the data. You need to upskill yourself and present yourself in front of the interview very confidently, and gain that trust. Do I would say, you conceptually also, coding wise also, you need to show your best in order to get hired. So yeah, it is possible obviously in a data science field, because we don't have any coding. We don't there is no specific like we need to go in a data science field if we have a coding background only, nothing like that. Even I am a complete BCom graduate, and I have lot many gaps in my career also. Like uh, 2016 I joined IBM, then I got married. Obviously I have some gaps till I joined IDXL, then I had my maternity gap till I joined Genpact. So obviously there are gaps in my career, but we need to be very confident and sync up with the technology very good, so that companies will have that trust in you and they will hire you. That's what I feel in IT field.
Great. So we have a question from Paramita Ghosh. She wants to know if there is any age limit for the job. I mean, data science job. I'm 36-year-old and I have 9 years of coding experience. So how can I start my journey?
Oh, Paramita, that's great actually. I would say that data science, like you already into coding background, so you need bit of statistical knowledge and bit of exploration knowledge to get into data science. So it is possible. Yeah, it obviously is possible because you already have 9 years experience in coding background. So it will rarely affect you from getting inside a company, because you have such experience in obviously coding, and bit of 50% of theoretical knowledge is also fine here.
Okay. So we have another question from Rishikesh. He wants to know, he says, I'm learning machine learning. What do I need to learn more to have a data science career? He's already learning machine learning.
Okay, Rishikesh, so if you are learning machine learning, then that is great. So you can go into advanced, like bit of advanced analytics. Take for example, you can choose your own field. Like you, if you want to go into image classification, then I would suggest you computer vision. Or if you want to go into text classification, you can go into NLP background and check. So if you are good into if you're going good in machine learning, then you can try somewhere like advanced analytics, like neural networks or deep learning, and choose your own way. Like there are different ways. Or you want to learn some cloud APIs, those are very much emerging now. If you can see, most of the people in the job market is full of Azure, AWS, and cloud platforms. So there are a lot many cloud platforms, and you can explore those too.
Okay. So we have a compliment for you from Adil. So he says, thank you, ma'am. The way you're explaining things looks so interesting. So it's a
Oh,
compliment.
thank you, Anil.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we have another question from Nikita. So Nikita says, I want to know how to get a job after data science course, even having 3 years gap. So Nikita, I think the whole webinar is about it. So please go and check out the video again. So it is possible to make a transition even with 3 years career gap. Yes. So the next question is from Technical Manji. So he says, I'm working as network engineer in a multinational Indian company. Can I switch to data science? I'm having idea about Python and mathematics.
Yeah, obviously. If I would say mathematics, Python are both the key fields in data science. Although I'll not say mathematics more, but yeah, you can go into data science. There is no harm in it. And you can prospect more also, because you already have a coding background, you already know Python, and you already have a good background in mathematics also. That will really help you to make a big progress. Let me tell you, I left maths in class 10. I in class 11, I secured very less mark in maths. I had to quit maths in order to pass in class 12. So I would say like there is nothing much like you need to have a mathematical or statistical or coding knowledge. Obviously, you can go no matter you are in which field. And it is like if you have a Python field, then there is like that is very much great. You can obviously go.
Okay. So next question is from Meenakshi. So she says, I'm not interested in learning programming skills, but still can I come into data science?
Minakshi, programming is like if you don't want to learn, I would like to say you like at least 30% knowledge is important, Meenakshi, because what happens is if you are trying to implement something, or you are trying to implement what is there in your mind, or you want to model something, you want to make your concept work on a model, then obviously you need some parts of coding there, either Python or R to integrate it. So at least 30% knowledge is important in coding for data science.
Great. So next question is from Bello Ismaila. So he asks, how useful is data science to a database administrator?
Okay. So I would like to say that the data is stored in database, like in DBA only. So yeah, it is, I would say it is 70% required for a like 70% importance it has in the database administration to know like how, what is the nature of the data, what is the characteristics of data, all those things. So I think around 60 to 70% data science is required in a database administration. All you do is understanding the data, right? All you do is understanding the backend, how it runs. So database administration, mostly the backend part. So there also you deal with data. So why don't you think that data science is important there also?
Okay. Next question is from Bipin Thapa. So he wants to understand the difference between machine learning and data science.
Yeah, Thapa, so I already said the difference between data science and machine learning. So data science is a big field and machine learning is under the data science field. So data science includes a lot of things. Data science include structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. So data science has everything. So if you take, for example, I'm doing a ML modeling. So obviously I can do a ML modeling using a unstructured data also and a structured data also. Right. So if I am like I am dealing with some of the images and I'm dealing with some audio files and all. So there I need to go little deep into analytics like computer vision to understand the nature of the images or to give a very comparative feature of image. So yeah, machine learning and data science is, I would say, like under data science, machine learning is a part. So data science has different steps also, like data processing, EDA, exploratory data analysis, statistics, SQL, Python, and then comes the modeling, that is machine learning. So machine learning obviously comes under data science only. There is no difference.
Okay. So next question is from Sadhana Tamrarkar. So
Yeah.
she's asking, which language is more important for data analyst, Python or R?
Python and R are both in the same line exactly, if I would like to say, because Python and R are a little bit same if we don't consider the formats of it, we don't consider the syntax of it. Python and R are both coding background, so you can choose any one, either Python or R. It is not like both are important for data science, but I would say either you can choose Python or R for it.
Okay. So the next question is from Pankaj Tiwari. So he wants to know, his question is, do data scientists work on data pre-processing part in real-time project, or data engineers take care of that?
No, pre-processing is mostly done by data scientists also. There is nothing like if you have bit experience, then you can go forward with the data science, pre-processing also, because pre-processing mostly, as I said, the data engineering's job is like to get the data perfectly fine for a data scientist to deal with it, to explore it. So I would say that pre-processing mostly data engineering people do. But yes, if you want to learn, it is well and good, because pre-processing is also a part of data science where we used to clean the data as per our wish. We need to know what exactly the data stands and what we need, we have to focus on. So those things are important in a data science field, wherein we need pre-processing, obviously.
Okay. So the next question is from Bharati Venkatappa. So she says, I'm into accounts payable with 9 years of experience. So can I select this? I think she meant data science. She's asking if she can get into data science. 9 years of experience in accounts payable.
Okay, so Bharti, even I would like to say I came from accounts receivable background, having 2 3 years of experience in that also. So yeah, if you have a strong domain knowledge in accounts payable, then you might try upskilling yourself with bit of coding and theoretical knowledge, wherein you can get into data science. It is not impossible, as I also came from the same field. So
Okay, great. So next question is from Chitra Bhuminathan. So she wants to know the skills required to become a data engineer, and she's a fresher.
okay. So, Chitra, I would like to say that for data engineering, you need more of integration skills. You need to understand the data. There is a huge platform in data engineering part that you need to know. There is a lot of automations you want to know. You need to know how to process the data. You need to understand different storage. You need to understand parts of ETL also. ETL and EDA are a part of data engineering only. Then you need to know what exactly is the need of a data scientist to process it. So all these things are required in a data engineering field. Obviously data engineering is bit tough than data science.
Okay, so the next question is from Vishal Tandon. So he wants to know how to build the real-time projects knowledge to showcase in interviews and on CV, obviously.
So Vishal, as I mentioned, there are various open source you can use GitHubs, you can use Kaggle. So basically, if you want to build an architectural framework of the data, or you want to build an architecture of your complete project, you need to integrate it into those platforms, and you can showcase it. Like if I say you have to write a code for input layer, then you write a code for the middle layer, that is modeling part, and you write a code for output layer, and then the integration part, whether you are using Java or something for integrations or all. Those things are important. So those things you need to showcase in that platform in order to crack an interview, and do share the links also. If you can in GitHubs also, you can just write in a readme thing, like this is the complete project, this is the complete structure of the project, we are doing this, and this is my code, so that it will be easy for them to check whether the model is working or not, or whether the real time project is working or not. Those things are also important. So the most important thing is to focus on the output, whether you are getting the output or not. If you are sharing the link with the interviewer, then obviously you have to focus on the output, whether your whatever the project you have built, that has an output or not. So that is important.
Okay, so we have an interesting question from Shovan Chaudhary. So he's asking, why would someone trust us if we just do a certification in data science?
Sorry, I didn't, Monica.
So he's asking us, this question is from Shovan.
Okay.
So his question is, why would someone trust us if we just do a certification in data science?
Uh, if you don't have a experience, if you don't have a technical skills, or you are either having a technical skill good in very good in coding, and you lack behind in theoretical knowledge, or you have a very good theoretical knowledge, you are from a statistics background, and you don't have a coding knowledge. So in that case, we need to upskill ourselves. And all about certifications is that certification plays a big role in transition. If you have a certification from a good institute, if the institute is very much reputed, then obviously it plays a big role in your academics also. It will play a big role in your resume also. So there are many courses available. You can see in Udemy, you can see in Coursera, like Edureka, different things. So yeah, we obviously can do there. We obviously can understand things there better. But the thing is, certification adds a value to your resume. Certification adds a value to your academics. So that is important. Certification is important because it will create a different prospect of your resume, and it will make a difference in your resume than other resume. If a person has done a course from Udemy and is trying for a data science job, and a person has done a certification, like a proper class certification from Great Learning, so obviously there's a difference between the resume of that person and your resume. So there lies the difference of certification.
Okay. So the next question is from Bunty Kumar. So he wants to know the difference between data scientist, data analyst, and big data expert.
Okay, so Bunty, as I have already explained you about data analyst and data scientist. So I can tell, like, data analyst is mostly gets the data insights from the data that is provided to them. So data analyst has to deal with the data. Data analyst has to find a solution from this data, but data scientist has to predict from the past pattern. So data scientist has to forecast. Data scientist has to build the own model, but data analyst has to provide the insights. It needs to analyze what the data is all about. Although in today's world, like in most of the companies in IT field, I see there is a huge sync between data science and data analyst. People, those who are hired as a data scientist, they work also in the data analyst, and data analyst with data scientist. So today's industry is dealing with that, but there is obviously a difference. And coming on to big data is completely different, I think, because it includes most of Spark, Hadoop, and all this thing. That is obviously a different prospect, wherein we deal with most of the unstructured data there. So that is again different. So that's all.
Okay. So next question is coming from Sonakshi Babur. She wants to understand what is the scope of data science after COVID crisis.
Okay. So Sonakshi, so I'd like to say that the complete world is data driven, and the situation of COVID, we can say it has not affected much, but the data is bit affected, because we can say, like, most of the data that was coming from different sources, those things have stopped coming. Because if you see, there are many, I can give you example, like there are many stores, like Vodafone has many stores, right, in US. So many stores are shut down there. So in that case, we will not get any data, right? We don't have any sales to project, we don't have any data coming in, we don't have any purchase, we don't have any warehousing there. So where to get the data? So obviously there is a effect in the data world. But in other things, if you see, this world is completely data driven now. Take for example, I'm taking a Zoom call. Take for example, I'm doing a call. Take for example, there are many things that are going on a tweet. So I want to explore something, I want to do some analysis on the Twitter data, I can do, obviously. So there is a very less impact in the data science field after COVID, not much. Rather, I can feel like there is a improvement in the exploration part. There is a improvement in, like, people wanted to upgrade, people wanted to upskill themselves in this crisis condition, in this pandemic, they wanted themselves to upskill. So that is what I can feel.
Okay. So thanks, Sonakshi. The next question is coming from Vikas. So he asks how important is storytelling in data science?
Oh, Vikash, okay, that's a very nice question. because storytelling is very important. The way you present is very important in data science, because everything is dealt with whatever you have done, right? So you are building a model. First thing is you are pre-processing a thing. You are then doing first data modeling. Then you are only you are predicting something, and then you are forecasting something, and then you are going for evaluation purpose, and then then you are getting a feedback from the employees or the clients or any project manager, right? So what happens is, in the case of storytelling is important, because if you have a capability to uh, tell what you have done, how you have modeled, and what is the layer that you have worked on, how you have worked on, that is very important. Take for example, there are many platforms like Analytics India is conducting many platforms like Cypher, MLDS, then plugins, wherein they do all is storytelling of their own project. They do a storytelling of how they did it, how they built that model, how they made it a success case. All these things again comes under storytelling only. So it is important in a data science field.
Okay. There are a lot of questions related to the important skills that they have to learn. So, can you maybe list down three key skills that everyone should focus on if they are freshers into the field of data science? Any three top skills that you would say?
Top skills I could say is they have to confidence in theoretical knowledge and concepts. Then they need to gain confidence a lot to crack an interview. Then second, I can tell that they need to have a very good skill in coding, like 50% at least they need to know the coding part, either Python or SQL or R something. And third, I would like to say nowadays questions also come very much like analytically. Like if you can see the last round, they focus on a very rare question like how many footsteps is there in a metro station on a weekday. So that is obviously very rare to guess. Like how many footsteps are there in a metro station is very difficult to guess. So in that case, they have to use their analytical skills. That is very important to make this question a proper answer, because they have to understand that where they have to they don't have to come to a proper closer for the question, but they need to focus on whether it's a Monday or a Friday. Sorry. They need to focus on the like which area it is located, like whether it is near to any IT parks or whether it is near to some schools. So again, there are many things that they need to take in brain in order to solve that question. So analytical power is very important in this part. So nowadays ITs companies and all, they ask this question in order to select between two candidates, those who are selected for fourth and fifth round. So they do us like a differentiation in this case. They need they understand the analytical power after the interviews.
Okay. So now that we are discussing about the key skills, so can you quickly take us through your interview process with Genpact?
Yeah, sure, Monica. So my first round with Genpact was written round. It was on coding and I think yeah, Python coding or SQL coding. They gave me like two options. Which one should I choose? I chose Python for the first round. Then the second round was completely statistical round, wherein I was asked about left tilt, right tilt. Then I was asked about how the Manhattan system, like theory works, how the time series works, and completely statistical. What is a variable? How can you find what is boxer plot? And all those graphical questions, correlations. How will you know that the data points are correlated to each other? And all these statistical questions. The third round was the managerial round, where they gave me a pen and paper to explain completely on the project that I have worked on. I worked on in my capstone on sentiment analysis, so I focused on that, and I placed like completely how I cleaned the data, how I pre-processed the data, how I dealt with the modeling, and what accuracy I got, what is the like factor that I choose and why I choose this. So there were a lot of questions in managerial round also, wherein I had to explain the complete structure, the complete architecture of my project. So that was important, and that was, I gave it in a very confidence way, because I had done that project like 2-3 times together. So again, the last round was the HR round.
Okay. Great. So I think that's it. We are not getting any new questions. So guys, please go check the video again in case if you have missed out on anything. So there are a lot of common questions that are coming. So repetitive questions. So I would urge all of you to go and check the video again. So thank you so much, Sonakshi. Thank you so much for taking out your time on a weekend and doing such wonderful session for us. So it was really great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica.
Yeah, so guys, before we end this session, so I would urge all of you to go and check out the Great Learning Academy. So we have around 80 plus courses over there. So we have courses about cybersecurity, data science, data analytics, business analytics, and we also have about cloud computing. So please go check out the Great Learning Academy page. You will find the link in the description box. And also please like and follow, subscribe this page so that you don't miss out on any such videos that we will be doing in future. Thank you so much for everyone for all of your time, and stay safe. Thank you.